And we're back for the next Fireside chat, which I'm going to have with Bissmeyer, what we had before. But this time I'm also going to introduce Juergen Mueller, the CEO and co-founder of Viamedici. He's got a background in engineering and management consulting. He's a visionary entrepreneur with deep technological expertise that he uses, of course, to transform into efficient solutions that support companies on their digitalization journey. Now, the Fireside Chat will be about AI is not a silver bullet. Hello there, Juergen. Hello there. How are you?
Good. Hi, Pio. Thanks for having us here. Yes, I'm fine.
Very good. Very good. So, everyone is really raving about AI, but this Fireside Chat is about, AI is not a silver bullet. So tell me more about that. Why is it not?
Yeah, so to use an analogy and to kind of think through things through a little bit, AI is it's a tool, right? So if you think about a hammer versus a nail gun, you still need to know when you're building something whether you need a 3-inch nail or a 1-inch nail to bind two 2x4s. And so if you use a 1-inch nail, whether you're using a hammer or a nail gun, you're not going to bind those two things together. And there's a lot of hype behind AI, but what we're seeing is, and there's a lot of application for AI. And if you use that nail gun and then you have a skilled user and they understand the data and how they're going to be utilizing it, they can get a lot of benefit out of it. But if they actually are just getting behind AI as a concept, what they find out is they need good data in order for AI to really work. So that's why we don't see it as necessarily a silver bullet. It's a tool. It is definitely here to stay. There's definitely opportunity with it, but it's not the save all. You need to apply AI appropriately as well as ML. So that's my feedback. Juergen?
So yes, I absolutely agree. So it is, of course, the fact that we do see this hype at the moment around AI. I think this is, so AI and machine learning is around for 40 years or more. But now we've reached a level where all the different bits and pieces that are needed, latest microcomputers, infrastructure, software, everything is at a level that from early stage simple applications, we've now reached a level where it becomes more visible for everybody. So what we see right now, and that was just some weeks ago at a discussion about, is AI or is OpenAI chatbot the kind of iPhone for machine learning and artificial intelligence? Is it the iPhone moment? And I would say the iPhone moment, yes, it is. Because we have now reached a level where the practical application is something that everybody can experience directly. So, just natural language generation, asking simple questions, getting simple answers. This is something everybody can do. And this is what you also see today. People at school doing the homework, using an OpenAI chatbot and things like that. So all this works. And so that it's clear that there is something change. There is a change right now, and that we have reached that level where it becomes very present and heavily used everywhere. But still, I also agree with Al. It is no silver bullet for all the data management tasks. So this is a completely different thing. But it is a game changer in some way. And regarding data management, when you apply to data management and all the possibilities, so actually, again, here, AI and machine learning has been applied to data management for several years already for specific tasks. And also now, it is mainly about productivity. So you can increase productivity in data management in general by using it in an appropriate way. And also about creating value out of your data. So here it's again a fantastic tool in order to create more value out of what you have. But I'm absolutely with Al. So the foundation is still required. And the foundation is simply that you do need to have an overall good data management process in place. This hasn't changed. You still need to make sure that this process is there. Also, you might have some automation at some places and improved productivity. You also need a kind of data supply chain, which you need to design somehow. And this is still required. And you also need a kind of overall data lifecycle management. Again, still required. But productivity you can improve, and you can improve significantly by using it.
Yeah. And I think if anything, this AI tools and AI in general highlights the need for good MDM, because you need that core data to be consistent and accurate. And of course, that's when you get afterwards the greatest benefit from using AI, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in general, so one of the big advantages, if you have good data and a good data management process in place in your enterprise, is simply that you are very reactive, that you can react fast to everything that happens and everything that's going around. Say it using new technologies, maybe accessing a new market, getting additional analytics, whatever. And it's the same here with AI. So if you already have that foundation and a good data management in place and good data available, then you can, of course, very easily and very fast deploy AI for certain areas of application and get most value and most benefit out of that. Absolutely.
Al?
Yeah, I mean, to basically highlight that analogy I used, it's kind of like think about a carpenter. So you really need to understand what's needed from the data and how you're using the tool, okay? And if you think about it, even from the creation of a golden record or specific data, you still need to know how to do, well, how am I profiling this data? How am I, what fuzzy logic am I using? What searches am I using to bring the data together? And then you can essentially use an AI tool once you understand these things and train it and get it to where it's actually able to do some of this function and take it to the next level as you're moving through the process. But you still need to know the baseline and be able to provide instructions so that you can get the data good and then and utilize it as you're using it for other functions. So we're definitely seeing the opportunity for AI in data categorization as an example, or translation for specific marketplaces, which we're doing with some of our customers. So there are a lot of applications for AI. And then also, even as Juergen mentioned, where you actually are taking AI for some of the marketing capabilities downstream, where you're actually adding additional content to product data. And that's definitely an application where AI could potentially help. But it's the selection of the processes and the optimization of those processes. And it still needs to have good data, and it needs to have good data stewards to help point AI in the right direction for you to get the benefit. Otherwise, it's just a buzz concept.
Yeah. And talking about buzzwords and hype, you see there is a bit of a tendency to look for the next big thing, trying to invent the wheel. And it doesn't apply. We're not talking just about AI. We're talking about, all these new concepts in the technology space, data fabric, and so on and so forth. To me, sometimes some of these buzzwords shift the attention away from these foundational things like MDM. Do you think this poses a risk for organizations, to always go with the latest thing? And do you think it poses a risk also for the top management that maybe wants to go with something that is just an old concept masked as a new one? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think no, it does not. It does not necessarily impose a risk. So it's always the same. So we have now reached a level where AI, ML, and also other technologies became very visible, and they are visible because they are not working in the background anymore. They are. It's easy to access them, and everybody can use it, and this is what makes them visible. Maybe the more powerful applications have already been around in some cases, but in the background. So you don't see it if you're not an expert. Now you see it. So I think it is all these things are powerful tools and powerful instruments, and it will change the future. So it is a game changer in some way. But I see like for example, again, if I come back to smartphones when they were coming up, all the software vendors, including us, of course, were working on providing cool user interfaces and apps for the smartphone. Like everybody's doing all these tasks on a smartphone, like even for large SAP applications, large master data management applications. You had the apps for absolutely everything. Is it used today? Very rarely, maybe for some analytics and so on, but people work on the computer. So it has not completely changed everything. And this is always, in an early stage, people tend to, in some cases, simply interpret too much into these new technologies and simply think everything is now happening this way and not the old way anymore. And this is simply not true. So in the end, it's some areas where it does provide significant benefit, and it will absolutely do. And I can just recommend everybody, and also everybody here in the audience, and I mean, it's very serious, and I'm doing it myself from the beginning, of course. I can recommend everybody get used and get experienced with AI and ML technology now. You can do it on your own. You can just, subscribe for a service and play around, get experience how it works, get experience what you can use it for, become familiar with it. Because this will be part of our daily life, also at the workplace, absolutely. And it will not be only working in the background. It will also be working in a more direct communication way, where we directly interact. But even if it's working in the background, it's good that you fully understand how it works. You don't need to be, for example, if you, again, compare it with a smartphone, of course, nobody has to become an app developer, but you need to know how these apps works, how you install them, how you work with it and everything. So that is key. And now it's time really to get accustomed to it and to get used to it. And that's it.
Yeah. Al, any thoughts?
Well, I think one of the things that I think is that I think, and we just had this at a roundtable at the break, but that came up is I was talking to a project team internally, and I think that people do get hung up on terms and technology and, the latest buzz term or the latest concept. And I think a lot of times when you outline what's required in order to be successful, it's very, they say, hey, this is common sense. And it is common sense. It's people, processes, and technology. So you're in a plan and a goal, and basically, what is the why? Why are we doing this? Are we doing it for compliance? Are we doing it for optimizing sales? Are we doing it for self-service? What is the purpose of what we're doing? And are we right-sizing this? And if you get those things together and you still have to do the basic blocking and tackling, regardless of which of these technologies you're deploying or concepts you're deploying. And I think that that's the key. So I don't think the terms or the new capabilities are necessarily a distraction. I think they're an enhancement. But I think you can't get away from the basics of having the good data and the foundation so that you can utilize it when, I don't care whether it's, a new type of BI capability in terms of business intelligence and, doing faster searches, or whether it's AI for optimizing things from that perspective, or ML, or even if it's a data fabric, you basically need to understand, what's the purpose of what we're trying to do, right sizing it, and then delivering it. And then once you do that, success breeds success, and you're able to, attack the next domain and optimize things for your organization. So that would be my thought.
And aside from AI, are there any technologies that you think are particularly promising, that you're really looking at with interest in the world of data management?
Yeah, other trends and technologies that are very important at the moment is, of course, everything around data mesh, data fabric, and things like that. That is also key. On the just technology side, just technical side, everything about in-memory technology, real-time data, so make things available faster for immediate analysis, immediate results. So there are great technologies around. So there's quite something going on at the moment. But again, so all this is important. And for a powerful and state-of-the-art data management infrastructure, at least if you have some certain amount of data, you need that. So otherwise, you are a little bit lacking behind. But again, it just makes everything more powerful. It is increasing productivity. It does increase the accessibility of the data. You have the results more prompt. You have kind of more intelligence in it. For example, with data mesh, data fabric, if you create networks and build relationships between data in different data pools and different systems, and so on, this, of course, provides a lot more power coming from the data and a lot more intelligence. So all this is needed, and all this is performing extremely well. In the end, you still need some basic processes. So here nothing will change, but the value created out of it is much higher. And also, as I already mentioned several times, productivity is significantly increasing if you use all those technologies and combine it in an intelligent way. Absolutely.
Thank you. There's a question from Elzbieta. Juergen, do you have any suggestions where to start with AI?
Yeah, well, this, of course, largely depends on the scenario, what kind of data you're dealing with, what data domains it is, and so on and so on. I would say, as I mentioned before, first, start as a person, start to get some personal experience with it. Start playing around with some of the AI engines and simply gain experience. Train your personal model, your AI ML model, train it a little bit, see how this training works, what you get out of it, what you can do with it. This is something that I would say, this is the very first thing you should do. Get the personal experience. Even if you, of course, work with consulting companies, system integrators, everything, but still I recommend get the personal experience, get the hand-on experience. It's easy and it's fun. And then I would recommend to focus on simple areas of application that gets you immediate results without big projects and anything. Like, for example, very simple areas of application, and this is also AI and machine learning, is, for example, automated translation. And this is already in place with many MDM deployments that if you want to enrich the data and make it available in different languages, you don't do this manually anymore. You do this by AI engines in the background that help you translate, and then maybe have some quality process on top of it. This is implemented extremely fast. You can start maybe in a certain, with a division or whatever, and then get experience from here. Or another area of application which is around for long is image recognition and keywords and tagging, doing this automatically by using engines like, for example, Google Vision and others. So again, something that can be implemented extremely fast, you get immediate results. It definitively will improve your productivity, and you get value. And then from here, then yeah, then it really, so this is very general. What I can also recommend if you're on the product data domain, so then it's always with products, it's also always about data enrichment. Again, in terms of you might need product description, product text, marketing tabs for different channels and things like that. So here again, but this already requires that you do have a good data management in place and good data available, because then you can use this data in order to kind of brief the machine learning engine to create use those marketing texts for the different platforms, like for Twitter, like for LinkedIn, like for your website, and so on. So the quality is very good if you have trained the engine and the model accordingly in advance. This is why I was mentioning the best is you start yourself a little bit to get the experience, but then you again create very fast value for your marketing teams, and you can start on a low scale. You just use it, make it available, use it in certain places, sometimes get experience, and then I'm pretty sure people will adopt it very fast because it contributes a lot. It really helps a lot. So this is how I would recommend to do it. Other things like interfacing and so is a bit more complex. So using AI in order to improve interfacing processes is of course also great and significantly increases productivity. And of course you can imagine you have your source system, you have a target system, you have structures. So instead of manual mapping and so, you can use automatic tools. Again, lots of stuff around from the different vendors. And this can also be based on machine learning and constantly improve based on what you're doing, your enterprise, and what typically happens and things like that. But beside what is out of the box available, if you want to go further, it's a bit more complex. I would recommend to stick with the easy things.
Yeah, and go step by step.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very good. Very good. Al, Juergen, I want to thank you for this great fireside chat. There's a lot we can do with AI, and I really liked your perspective on it. And of course, we have to move on, but I hope to see you very soon in the networking breaks, continuing the conversation and taking all the other questions that I'm sure will be coming on the
Thanks,
topic.
Theo. Have a good one.
Thanks, Pio.
Thank you.
Thank you.